What is up? If you guys watched yesterday's video, you know that I've been on a little bit of a losing streak and it's been kind of frustrating. So, very happy that today went well and was able to reprice pretty well. So, always good in a losing streak and in a downswing kind of to just have a day where everything kind of went to plan and things made sense. But I have the traded recordings that I'll pull up, but honestly, today was also more tricky than it should have been. And if anyone uses Top Step X, they know that right now the chart's kind of wonky because we had this 200-point candle come in, which is just for the contract adjustment. So we have not taken out these swing highs yet. We have not taken out this swing high yet on NQ. And what I mean by that is that this is the actual contract in QZ, the new December contract, and we have not taken out this high. So I hope Top Step X fixes this because this is really annoying. Everything here should be about 200 points higher than where it is, and it's just not. So that's annoying. In the practice count, we took a nice trade that I'll go over, and on the actual counts, we had a $157 day. Again, it could have, should have, would have been a lot better. But that's why we make this review, and that's why we kind of go over our mistakes, right? Because I'm still not executing perfectly even on good days, but it is nice to have a day where price did what I was expecting, and I was able to manage it well enough, right? So that's really where my why I'm happy about today's price action, not the dollar amount, but just with how I was able to read price. So the account's up to 637. Still way off where we were before, but again, that's not really the focus. And we just have to have, when we have a day like today where price was actually good and gave us opportunities, we got to just capitalize a little bit more. I'll actually show price action off of the NQ. So we did lock our account after our winning trade, which is good. It's good discipline, right? Following our rules. So going into the day, this was where my bias was at, right? I wanted to see these equal highs. We're bullish on the higher time frame. We're delivering from this 4-hour fair value gap here. We have displacement leg up. This candle was forming, creating this fair value gap here that we never retraced to yet. Right here, there's a 4-hour underneath. But the 1 hour is where I got most of my bias, if it ever loads, which was this fair value gap right here. Why does this one stand out to me? It stands out because if we take into consideration the range, it's not in 50% of the whole range, but this range right here, it is dead 50% from this range that we had before this candle, right? When we came down here, we did not put this high in. So we come down to 50% of this range, which is this 1 hour. It's the most obvious spot that everyone's attention gets drawn to where you could look for longs. And I obviously was bullish to this high. And I wanted to see that play out, right? We had a new week opening gap as well right here, right underneath this swing low here that I wanted to see us at least trade to this low and dig into this if we could. So that was the bias going to the day. And I wanted to see longs out of it just because of the higher time frame narrative. That being said, we did end up getting that there. So if I drop onto a lower time frame, I'll kind of frame what I was looking at. So my first trade, and this was not a mistake. I purposely took this trade, but I managed it weird, and I could learn from it for sure. But we end up sweeping the data high here. No displacement at all. I wanted to see price manipulate lower, so I got in on this inverse fair value gap here. But I got in with a bad fill, and that's why I'll pull up my execution real quick first, and we'll kind of go over that, and we'll walk through what I was doing there and why I could have done better. So we end up hesitating and then being like, we'll get in. I like it. It just took me a second to really commit to it because it was early off open, so that was one thing. It was just really early off open, so it kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. And also, I've been trying to figure out the gap in the chart, and then I figured out it was just the contract rollover date. And then I was trying to figure out, have we taken the equal highs or not yet? I determined that, in my opinion, we haven't because I think that the proper chart is the one on NQ or on Trading View. And so just a lot of things were going on pre-market that just kind of made me a little bit more hesitant on this trade. And I was like, okay, I want to see this low, and then I'll get break even after that. But then I was just like, okay, I got a bad fill. This is just bad management. This is just fear. Just not. I shouldn't be in a trade if I have this type of fear. It runs down, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to break even here. I probably should just let it take this low. Again, I'm not super upset with how I managed this. I'm really more upset with just hesitating. If I wanted to take this trade, I should have got in right at the close so that my break-even point would be more wiggle room, right? Right here, I don't have even, much room to dig into this breaker block here. So we got stopped there, which is fine because the idea was right, but we were just a little hesitant. So that was the first trade that we took. So we actually did take 3 total trades, and we'll keep going over them. So that was where we were at here, right? And then as you can see, if I left my stop at this, if I got in here and left my stop there, we would have never been hit. We would have taken this low, which would have been 27 points. So it wouldn't have been anything game changing here, but we would have got stopped out at break even on the rest, which is fine, right? There's no need for me to just hold through this when this is the data low, right around here. Right, this is the low that we can know for sure we're going to get hit in this time period. You don't really want to see a stall here because this was also a 15-minute fair value gap right here, so I'll actually mark that out. So no reason to ever get greedy on this trade. The best way I could have managed it is go to break even when we took out this low and just let it play out from there. And this 15 minutes holding like an absolute champ. The consequent encouragement is being absolutely danced on. But that's just for later. So again, my target was still bullish. That's why I also was hesitant in this trade, is because I wanted to see higher price. So it's kind of against my narrative anyways. And then I was like, you know what? I don't need to take this trade because if price goes down to the TP area, which is down here, then I'm looking for it to go down there to long anyway. So why would I force my hand going short when I want to see us come down and then go long? So this now became the target, the drawn liquidity for me for the rest of the day. And then obviously runners to here if that's how things panned out. But we end up coming down, we sell through here, right? We bounce to the new day opening gap. We put in a 5-minute imbalance right here. We put in a 5-minute sell side imbalance, right? And I was like, I wasn't worried about the 5-minute at this moment. I just want to see price continue lower. This is the 1 hour fair value gap, right? We sweep this low, we come down, we trade through the midpoint, and we hold. This close gave me a lot of confidence, right? This close right here, when we close our body outside of the 1 hour after hitting consequent encouragement of the fair value gap, this close was very strong. I wanted to see this get inverse. So this was my next trade, was when we inverse this 1 minute fair value gap. I was very confident in this being a trade at least to get to break even. The reason why I end up, and I'll pull up this execution as well. And let's pull up this execution, then I'll go over kind of what I was looking at and why. Don't believe this is it either. No. I start a lot of videos and never end up placing a trade, and then just have videos like this one's 7 seconds, yeah. Because, oh yeah, I was trying to catch, after we rejected here, I wanted to catch shorts to this low and this low, but it never gave me an entry, and that's fine. And there's no reason to chase it. So this was our trade here that I was talking about. We end up putting in the inverse fair value gap, and then I end up entering with little hesitation, just half second. This would have been a $400 trade if I just held the whole way, but that would have been tough for a lot of reasons because, right, we hit this high, that would be a TP at this high for sure, and then I'd get probably stopped near break even. But I put a contract limit here at 60% of this sell-off because I expected the 5 minute to maybe hold, but I wanted the partial at an area that would kind of make sense in price action, right? So my stop loss was actually $112, which is great. And this candle kind of scared me, but I was like, you know what, like, let's see how it closes. We close and we hold well and we get a good push out. So I was like, okay, I like this trade. Let's see if we can get to the break-even target, which is where I probably should have just scaled one of them. But at the same time, scaling there's a little bit just aggressive. So I have my take profit. We barely miss it, and that kind of frustrated me a little bit. I was honestly kind of frustrated. So I trailed my stop. I couldn't lose on this trade now, but I was like, dang, like I really had confidence in the setup. But again, we were delivering from this 5 minute right here, and that's why the break even point was here. I was just not confident in the bias. So I'll go over after the rest of these trades or the rest of the market recap. I'll go over my mistakes on this trade and what I could do better. But I think, well, actually, you know what? My mistake on this trade was I should have just been more confident in my analysis, right? This is exactly what I wanted to see. I was digging into the 1 hour, the new week opening gap, get an inverse out of it. Price action was tipping its hand to me that this is something that was going to happen in price, and that's what I wanted to see. I very much wanted to see us come into that 1 hour and respect it and have a reaction. So I shouldn't have been worried about the 5 minute bearish fair value gap, and this is also just frustrating because my TP didn't get hit there either. But again, it's fine. But again, I should have just trusted more in the setup rather than being super concerned about the 5 minute bearish, because the bearish fair value gap really didn't have much weight in the grand scheme of things if my bias is correct, right? The only reason that doesn't work is if my bias is wrong. But I was just over protecting myself, just really hoping that it would just run straight up. So I think that's where my first mistake was. I tried to have a market sell. That was, if anyone caught that, I was trying to set a limit, like a sell stop here for one contract, so that if it ran above this high, I could trade it to this, and trail it and kind of like capture in profits, right? Instead of taking profit this high, I could have it shoot through, and then I could trim my take profit with it. And then it just accidentally just sold half my position, which, I mean, overall actually ends up helping me, but that was the idea there, and it just kind of messed it up. But yeah, this 5 minute shouldn't have been as big of a concern for me as it was. Looking back, that's just me not trusting myself enough, because this trade ends up working really well. And if we look at price action for the rest of this move, what do we get here? We respect this. We respect the order block here, which gets respected from the 1 minute IFVG, which is in the new week opening gap. Notice how we close above consequent encroachment. We displace higher. We pull into this 5 minute imbalance. We cannot close above the midpoint. We trade lower, and then we hold the order block and we close bullish. This could have been another entry, or you wanted to wait for this close, right? We close above the consequent encroachment in the 5 minute. But then my next entry actually came on the 2 minute, and I'm happy with how I entered this as well. The 5 minute got inversed, and the 2 minute got inversed as well. Now I had more confirmation. I set a limit order at the top of this inverse fair value gap, so I did not get it on the close, which actually gave me about 6.5 points more, which is good. Everything you can get helps. And so instead of entering at the close, I entered on the tap of this fair value gap here. So I entered right here, and my stop was just below this order block, risking 28 points to take profit. I didn't take profit there. Risking 28 to make 48, 46. We actually would have been stopped out here, which is pretty unfortunate, but we did hit this high is when I went break even. And then I'll pull up the execution, but I actually added contracts in this high. And then the reason why I ended up closing the trade is because ES ran the high of day here, and we took out our market maker buy model target on the higher time frame, which is these highs here. So as you can see, ES came above it and NQ did not, right? NQ's target is up here. So we had the SMT. So that gave me the confidence to close the trade. So I'll pull up that execution now, and then I'll get into my paper trade. Today was a great trade, or a great day. A lot of great confluences happened today. It was just really, really nice to see. So this trade here, we end up, this is the trade I was talking about, obviously. So here we are. It hasn't closed yet. I'll speed along to the close. I wanted to get 4 contracts in here on this 1 minute fair value gap. Never gave me that entry, which is fine. Would have been a great entry. The 5 minute inverse is now I needed the 2 minute inverse. I set my limit order. Now I'm risking less, half size, because of the fact that we are so much higher up. I didn't want to risk 4. We trade down to it. We get filled there, and risking $138 to make $187. So not the greatest ever, but I was looking to add on this, so that was kind of the plan, and I wanted to see higher price. All those things obviously didn't take place. But we got the immediate rebalance into the 2 minute, and then we end up pushing up. We end up holding that 1 minute fair value gap pretty strong. So I went to break even, and then kind of was deciding if I want to or not, risking 180 now. And then when we get the close here, we don't get the close. I kind of toying with break even. We get the 1 minute close here. I added, so I'll go back here. I was waiting for the 2 minute close. I was hovering over the market buy. I was going to add here so that I could scale here and leave runners, right? Because if I didn't scale there, then if I didn't scale here, or if I didn't have more contracts, I couldn't scale at this high. I'd have to take the whole position off. So I wanted to benefit from this high and then leave runners higher. So we get the close. I added, and this is where I was like, you know what? I probably should just go break even here because realistically, right? Like it should run here, but I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll just risk a little bit here. But this is the time that I started noticing that ES took out the high. I'm not sure exactly when, but I look over right here. You can't see that, but I look over at my other monitor right here. I think if you watch my face, my monitor is like I'm looking at it right now. I look over at the monitor. I see ES had taken the high. I was like, you know what? I should probably close. Was really torn between just closing the position and not. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go break even for sure. Then I was like, you know, I don't want to go break even. I was really indecisive. I was like, I probably should just close. We had an order block here that I wanted to see as reject. I wanted to see consequent encouragement of this inverse hold for sure. And then what do I do here? So I was looking at NQ. I'm not sure why. And then I was like, you know what? This fair value gap, or this wick right there, it needs a hold. Let me sell 2 at this high. And then we sell 2 contracts there. Our fill goes higher, so then we move our position up higher, the cover, because I'm not going to take loss on the contract. Then I'm like, you know what? Let's get this one out. Basically, it just fills me at the break-even point. That's how we close the day. Again, with this specific trade, the way I managed it, I think was fine, just because of the context, right? ES took out the high. We were failing to make swings, and I didn't want to get caught in this, right? So very happy with that. And then the last trade, which was the paper trade here that we made $338 on, I traded micros. We actually were holding this 5 minute fair value gap right here. We created a 5 minute imbalance right here. Which we held there. We created a 5 minute balance, right? We had an SMT turtle soup earlier here, which was right here. We had an SMT turtle soup. We took out this low inside the 5 minute, held consequent encouragement, displaced higher. This was on, ES did not take this low, and for context, it was right here. This was 921. Right, this was SMT, 921, right, 923, pretty much same thing. So then we do come down and we sweep this low again, and we hold this 1 minute fair value gap, and we do end up holding the 5 minute, and we even hold this order block. So just super, super high confluence that we hold this order block, and then this is where the entry came in, was on the 15-second time chart. With everything that I showed you on price, right, we get a nice 15-second IFVG right there. Let's get this template. So this actually good because I have the drawings up, right? We have low resistance liquidity here, 1, 2, 3 highs. We have low resistance liquidity here. All these highs with 1 fair value gap, 2 fair value gaps, right? We sweep liquidity here, no displacement lower. We hold this order block right here. We displace through the inverse. This is a great entry, risking 17 points to make 53 points. Break even at this high, TP1, TP2. If you want to leave runners, there you get stopped out. This trade was fantastic. Easily trade of the day in terms of context and confluences. Really, really, really beautiful trade there. Love that trade there, and yeah, after that I was day done. Wasn't curious about anything else, and that's my interpretation of the market today. I do want to just quickly go over this trade here. I really think that this trade here, I should have just held with more confidence, right? I should get in knowing that I'm being happy with risking at least consequent encouragement here, 26 points, to then make 66 and then make 85. I would never have gotten stopped out at this low. So if I did just be disciplined and hold at break even, we would have hit full take profit. But regardless, I should have just been more confident in this trade and know that my bias and my interpretation was correct and just let it play out and be okay losing. That's the mistake that I made there, which is fine though, because again, you guys saw that yesterday and this week I've been having a rough time trading. So, just even having a day today where I didn't capitalize like crazy, being able to just read price well, that kind of restores my faith and my confidence in my ability to read price, because things played out very, very well today based on how I was seeing it. So hopefully I'm not just getting lucky at, all-time highs PA where every long just works. But I do think I just had a really good interpretation of the market live time, which just helps because it just builds confidence in what I'm doing and everything like that. So couldn't be happier about today's price action and how I traded it. Obviously, we can learn from it. We still make mistakes. So once I can just keep dialing in that and just get better and better with my mistakes and just really, really capitalize on what I'm doing, it'll be good, right? So we can't rush the process. We can't worry about the results in the short term. We just have to worry about, getting better, reading the charts, and executing every day, just showing up and getting better, which is what we did. So again, man, very, 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 very pleased. And man, this fair value gap's still holding. So at this point, I would say be done for sure. Obviously, it's about to hit 12. I haven't been trading for a while. I've been done, but just making this video a little bit after the fact. But again, great day. Hopefully you guys caught good stuff too. Hopefully you guys had a good day. And we did hit 1,750 subscribers more. So anyone that keeps up with this channel knows that is another quarter going into the jar for every 250 subscribers. Oh my gosh, we have the coolest quarter in the world. If anyone can guess which quarter, where this was from, this is the best quarter in the entire world. I'll show you guys it in a second. But again, I want to thank everyone that subscribed. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna have 7 quarters every 250 subscribers. We have 7 quarters, and I honestly never thought that I'd ever get 1 quarter when I first started this YouTube channel. So the fact that we're closing in on 2,000 subscribers is really mind-blowing. I never would have imagined 1,000 subscribers even was a big thing. So doubling that is wild. So if you guys can guess this quarter, which state, I think, in my opinion, this is the coolest quarter. I've seen this one a few times, even though we do have a cool one in there. But this quarter, leave your guesses in the comments. But it has an astronaut on it. So again, that last chance to guess. If you're like a, I don't know, history. It's not history, but history buff or like a, you just know trivia. Has an astronaut. It is the Ohio quarter. It has an astronaut and it has a plane, like an old airplane, because it was the birthplace of the aviation pioneers. Fun fact for you guys. 2002. This thing is sick. Hopefully the camera can capture it. Dude, like, my hand's shaking so much. Tell me that isn't the coolest quarter, that little astronaut on it. That thing is sick. And I just threw it in. We got it in there. We have 7 quarters now. This thing's starting to fill up a little bit. So again, I appreciate everyone that subscribes. We are 200-something subscribers away from getting our 8th quarter and hitting 2K, which is crazy because then it's no longer just, then it's no longer just 1,000. Now you got double. So double a big milestone is crazy. And the video I posted yesterday did very well. So, yesterday's video is 1 of 10. If anyone posts on YouTube, they know what that means. So 1 of 10 just means the most views in that time frame. It always dies down the next day because I don't post like viral worthy content. So typically the videos stop getting views after the first day or so. But 1,400 views in under 24 hours is really, really crazy. So, yeah, I mean, great day today. Very nice to restore some confidence in myself. And I appreciate everyone watching the videos. Real Madrid play today in the Champions League. Anyone that keeps up with soccer, Champions League's back. You know, that's my favorite competition to watch. Super excited for that. So, yeah, hopefully we get something going there too. So, hopefully you guys do something fun today. Get outside, do something, exercise, whatever. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.